Hey everyone, welcome back to Digits. Today we'll be doing our lesson 10-1, which is talking about ratios as decimals. So let's go ahead and dive in. To write a ratio as a decimal, first write the ratio as a fraction, and then write the fraction as a decimal. So 1 to 2, we know that when writing up a ratio of a fraction, your first number is your numerator and your second is your denominator. Okay? And that's 1/2. Which is also written as 0 and 5/10. Okay? Our ratio written as a decimal is a comparison of the decimal to 1. So out of 1, 0.5, or think of it like $1, out of $1, 50 cents means half. Alright? I want you to copy this into your notebook before we get started, because we're going to have a few problems that are easy and then they're going to get pretty difficult really fast. Alright, I want you to solve this one in your notebook. You don't have to copy the situation, but I do want you to copy down this chart. It's going to be pretty helpful. Okay? So, the aspect ratio of an image is the ratio of the width of the image to the height of the image. The table shows the aspect ratio for 3 computer monitor settings. Complete the table. So the width for the first one is 1024 pixels. The height is 768. The aspect ratio would originally be 1024 to 768, and you can reduce that down to 4 to 3. Now what you have to do is figure out how to write 4 to 3 as a fraction, and then as a decimal. Okay, let's do the first one together. So 4 to 3, we talked about when you have a ratio, your first number is going to be your numerator. And then your 3 is your denominator. You guys got that one down. Let's go ahead and come to decimals. We know that when we are finding a decimal, you divide your numerator by your denominator. Add a decimal in some zeros, just in case the denominator might be a little bigger. 3 can go into 4 once, with a remainder of 1. 3 can go into 10 3 times, remainder 1, 10 3 times. So your decimal is going to be 1 and 33 hundredths. Okay? I want you to do the next two by yourself. If you kind of got confused, rewind a little bit and watch how we did it again, just to make sure you got it. And then once you fill out your entire chart, I want you to push play and see if you get it right. Alright, here are the answers for the table. If you got it right, awesome. If you got it wrong, that's okay. Just see if you can figure out maybe what you did wrong. Sometimes when we're dividing, I've seen a lot of computation errors, and that will really mess up your decimal a lot. So make sure you double check your division to make sure that it's correct. Okay? Alright, this is how you should have found your answer. To write a fraction as a decimal, divide the numerator by the denominator. So like we did, 3 goes into 4, 1.3343, and that'll go on for infinity. So we can shorten it to 1 and 33 hundredths. It's the same thing with the 9 going to 16. It'll go in 9 or 1.7777. That's going to go on for infinity too. But instead of that one being 1.77, because the 7 here is larger than 5, this 7 is going to be rounded up to 8. So it's going to be 1.78. Okay? And then 4 goes into 5, 1 and 25 hundredths evenly. Alright, I want you to work this problem into your notebook. Copy down the question or the situation, and then I want you to figure out which answer is correct. Don't just write A, B, C, or D, write the actual numbers. Alright, write the ratio 3 to 8 as a fraction and as a decimal. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video, copy it down, and figure out which one would be the correct answer. When you think you got it, push play and see if you got it right. to write the ratio 3 to 8 as a fraction and a decimal, 3 to 8, your first number is your numerator, your second number is your denominator. Okay? And then we know that our denominator is our divisor, which is our 8, and our numerator is our dividend. So your decimal should be 0 and 375 hundredths. Okay, and since it stops at the 5 and it goes into that evenly, you don't have to round to the nearest hundredth place, okay? Sorry, 375 thousandths, that's not hundredths. Alright, you do not have to copy this one down, but I do want you to work it out. You can do it with a whiteboard or with an Excel marker on your desk. The ratio of the number of 6th graders to their total number of students at the school is 0 and 45 hundredths. Write the ratio 0 and 45 hundredths as a fraction in simplest form. Well, guys, we did this in our last unit. We talked about how when you're reading a decimal as a fraction, you read 0 and 45 hundredths. So we know before it's in simplest form, it's going to be 45 over 100. And then you reduce. When you think you figured out how to reduce it, you think you found your answer, push play and see if you got it right. Alright, so like I said, 0 and 45 hundredths is also written as 45 over 100. Step 2, simplify the fraction. So you've got to find the greatest common factor of 45 and 100, and that is 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 100 divided by 5 is 20. Now 9 and 20 do not have a common factor that is greater than 1. So we know that 9 twentieths is the simplest form. Okay? Copy this example into your notebook. Oh yeah, this is going to be on a lot of the homework, so you're definitely going to want this in your notebook. In baseball, a player's batting average is the ratio of the number of hits to the number of at-bats. Most of you who don't know what at-bats are, it's basically the number of swings that are made. Okay? A batting average is equal to the number of hits over the number of at-bats. A new player's batting average is 0 and 350 thousandths. The player has 60 at-bats. How many hits does the player have? So you're really going to want to think this one through. The first thing you need to do is turn your decimal into a fraction. Okay? If you didn't finish copying the first page, you need to go back and finish copying it, because you're also going to want to copy down the steps. So step 1, write 0 and 350 thousandths as a fraction, which is 350 over 1,000. Simplify the fraction, so you have to find the greatest common factor of 350 and 1,000. And that's 15. 350 divided by 50 is 7, and then 1,000 divided by 50 is 20. 7/20 is the simplest form, so it cannot be reduced. Okay? So that's step 1 and 2. Step 3. Now, this is where your 60 is going to come in. Since the player had 60 at-bats, write an equivalent fraction with 60 as the denominator. So, we know that 20 times 3 is 60. Then whatever you multiply your denominator by, wherever you multiply one part of your fraction by, or ratio, you have to multiply the other one by. Okay, so you just do 7 times 30 at 21. So that means out of the 60 at-bats, he's made 21 hits for the new player's half. Okay? So finish copying this down and then push play to continue on. Work this in your workbook. Another player's batting average is 290 thousandths. The player has 200 at-bats. How many hits does the player have? Again, you're writing 0 and 290 thousandths as a fraction. Alright, now you have to find the greatest common factor, or the GCF, of 290 and 1,000. Well, the biggest number that can go to 290 and 1,000 is 10. 290 divided by 10 is just 29. 1,000 divided by 10 is just going to be 100. Okay? 29 and 100 do not have a common factor except for 1 and anything smaller than 1, so it cannot be reduced anymore. Now, we know what our fraction looks like. Now we've got to figure out of the 200 at that, how many hits were there. So 200 is going to replace our denominator. You have to figure out what you multiplied times 100 to get 200. And that's 2. So now you have to multiply 29 times 2, which is 58. So that means out of the 200 at bats, there are 58 hits. Okay? Here's our challenge question. A salesperson ratio of the successful signups to the number of people called is 0 and 125 thousandths. This month, the salesperson has 25 signups. How many people did the salesperson call this month? Alright, so first things first, we want to write 125 thousandths as a fraction. Alright, so now you have to find the GCF of 125 and 1,000. Well, we know that the GCF of 125 and 1,000, you can create a factor tree if you're not sure, but it's actually 125. 125 divided by 125 is 1. 1,000 divided by 125 is 8. Okay? Now, that's the ratio, that's the fraction portion of this ratio of successful signups. If you had 25 signups, which means you're going to replace your 1 with a 25, you've got to figure out what you multiplied times 1 to get 25, and then multiply your denominator by the same. Well, obviously, 1 times 25 is 25, so you have to do 8 times 25. 5 times 8 is 40, carry your 4. 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So he made 200 calls. Okay, so the answer for this problem is 200. Because the question asked, how many people did the salesperson call? Okay? This is actually, this problem right here is actually straight from the homework. So if you get stuck, watch this again. Alright, this is another chart that I want you to copy into your notebook. Player batting averages. All I want you to do is copy down the label and the chart. Okay? You have player 1, 2, and 3, the number of hits, and the number of at-bats. You're going to put your batting average. And I want you to put it as a decimal, so you're going to have to figure out what the fraction is first and then turn it into a decimal. Okay? When you think you figured it out, push play and see if your answer was correct. Alright, so 33 out of 120 would be written as 33 over 120, which is also written as 0 and 275 thousandths. Okay? Player 2, 260 thousandths, and 275 thousandths was for player 3. Alright? That is all I want you guys to do for today. I want you to complete your closing check for your homework, and go ahead and get started on your digits assignment. And if you get stuck, please ask for help. These hard questions are going to be on the test. That's your hint. Okay? Have a great day.